Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Candid Culture. How are you doing this evening? I am joined by some beautiful women on this screen and in these YouTube streets. I have first home tuber, the incomparable Miss Kia Simone, and my good friend Bianca. And we have some other guests joining us. So stay tuned for that. They're coming in, they're coming. But I just really wanted to talk to the ladies because Kia, we've been doing the men's panel, and then I did some men's panels over the summer. I've done 5 episodes. I didn't know I did 5 episodes. I was like, let me go back and check this out. So I did 5 episodes, and then in me looking at the women's panel, I said, let me go back and kind of look at the same formula because I talked to the men about dating with intention and what they really want. But I was like, I was looking at a show that our friend Sean Unfiltered did, and he asked the ladies, he said, ladies, what do you want? And nobody answered. Nobody, I feel like we had about 80 people in the chat and nobody answered. And I said, am I the only one that like give my top five? So I have some beautiful women on here, and it was important for me to also have different age ranges and make sure I got the melanin popping. That was important for me too. That was important for me too. So let's get started. So first of all, how are y'all doing tonight?
Amazing. How are you?
Great. Thank you so much, first on for joining me tonight. We've only spoken like once, but I said I got to make sure and connect with her. You're out of Chicago, am I right?
I am out of Chicago. Because I'm a realtor in Chicago, we vacation in the winter. So I'm actually in Phoenix right now.
Okay.
But I want to say thank you so much for inviting me because I was able to check out many of your men's panels. I was in the chat and I thought they were so awesome. So I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And Kia, how you Kia's a busy woman. How are you doing tonight?
Yes, I was like, my girl, she, texted me and was like, can you jump on? I was like, okay, let me make it happen for you. So yes, I'm doing awesome. Just glad to be here.
Lady B, Bianca, how are you doing?
Hey, I'm well. All is well with me. Great Sunday, everyone. I'm here. I'm so glad when you sent me the message. I was so excited to join. I still am excited. So nice to see everyone.
Yes.
You
Y'all,
as well.
yes, and y'all, if you guys want to go off on a tangent, and we're just gonna have a good time and talk. But I do want to first let me ask a question. So, if a man wanted to let you know that he's interested, like, what is the first thing that he needs to do to just if you see him, if he sees you, let's say in the grocery store, what does he need to do? What should he do and what should he not do? Let me go that way. Kia,
You're on mute.
go
I know
ahead.
I'm laughing because I knew she was gonna pick me first. I just knew it. So just you don't have to come off aggressive. Just like how are you doing? The normal stuff. You don't have to come off aggressive with a major pickup line. Just hey, how you doing today? How was your day? I don't do creepy. That's scary.
What? Okay,
No,
so
great.
yeah, no creepy. First home.
I agree.
What would a man need to do to just let you know he's interested?
I think being able to say that, knowing how to say that respectfully is huge. I think most of us as women look at all the gorgeousness on the screen, we get a lot of interest or attention, but that's not the same thing as respectful pursuit. That's completely different. And so I think use respectful language and keep it all the way honest about what your intention is.
Bianca.
I agree with both of the ladies. To me, the number one thing is just saying hi, you know, not necessarily hi with your eyes, but with your mouth. Nothing wrong with looking, nothing wrong with checking. But when you start to get creepy with just staring and you just staring and not saying anything, then it gets really weird. And at that point, I don't even want a conversation. So that's just the most important thing. And it sounds so simple, but just literally saying hi, and then spark up a conversation, being respectful. Literally, the first few words will determine even if you get a date at all. And it's not hard. So honestly, just hi, how are you? How was your day? Well, I saw you from the aisle, and I just want to let you know that I think you're beautiful. Is it okay if I take you out sometime? Simple.
And
So
I
the
was and lead with information, not with questions. So sometimes people come up to you and they're like, "Where do you live? Who are you? What's your name?" And I'm like, I think you should introduce yourself first. Say, "Hi, I'm Tyrone. I work down the street. I'm here grabbing something to eat." Like, you need to introduce yourself and present yourself as a non-creep and and lead with that. And then, I can decide what information I would like to share with you.
So the reason why I asked that question first is, Bianca said don't stare and don't be creepy. That's literally happened to me where I was at a night spot. I think it was like it wasn't a cigar lounge, but it wasn't a club, and a guy's staring at me and I'm at the bar getting a drink. He didn't come up to me and say, "Hey, can I buy you this drink?" None of that. Literally was staring at me for had to be 10, 15 minutes because I had gotten the drink, turned around, and he's still staring at me. And I said, "Now you're just creeping me out. Like, can you just come up and say hello?" And honestly, it makes you nervous. Now, anything I do the rest of the night, I'm like, is this guy still staring at me? If he wants to make a move, if he wants to come up to you and speak, then do so. And also, in today's times, it's saying that women need to be doing the ones doing all the approaching. What do you guys think of that? What do you guys go ahead first? Go ahead first.
I definitely think that women can approach if they want. What I am kind of seeing, even with the ready to love situation and seeing how that plays out, there are women who prefer to approach, who like that, who are into that. I like that women can. I don't think that there should be a rule that the women should now for some reason.
Go ahead, Bianca.
Okay, I definitely agree with First Home in terms of there should not be a rule. For some reason now society has just adapted that, like, oh, women just have to approach now. And I'm kind of old fashioned when it comes to that. I like to be chased. I like to be approached by the men. That does not mean that I may not, initiate a conversation at all. However, I like it when a man approaches me.
Go ahead, Kia.
So I'm so old school, and like I said, I'm really not looking. So when Krista said this panel, I'm like, okay, girl, whatever. But if the situation happens, I'm not approaching you. You can make yourself known in little ways where it's not like aggressive. And if he chooses to take that opportunity, then that's that. But I feel like that sets up the standard in the relationship, because if you start approaching him, then he get lazy, and then I'm not trying to be, in charge of a whole bunch of stuff. Been there, done that. So I just feel like I just want to set the stage that you need to be the man and do what you need to do.
So I totally agree, and I hate saying that I'm old fashioned in that way, but that's what it sounds. Okay, I've been called, "Oh, you're old fashioned." I've literally talked to the guys and said, "No, you need to be doing the approaching. You're the one that needs to say hello. You're the one that needs to say why." I don't understand that. So and am I crazy? I just don't get it. And so
You're
why?
not crazy.
I think more and more women are doing that. And so I just, and that's my fear, is that it's becoming an expectation for guys. But I think that what women can provide are cues, are clues. So if I have open body language toward you and I give you a smile, when you look at me, then that could be a clue.
Or
So
even something as simple as saying, like, oh my gosh, that cologne that you have on today, that's not really like flirting, but that's like giving him the open, say, oh my gosh, what's the smell that what are you wearing today? And it's not, I compliment ladies also, so it wouldn't be nothing like out of the ordinary for me to say, oh, that blue looks really, really nice on you. So that's an open, door for him to be like, okay, well, I'm feeling Kia, or I'm feeling, in woman on this panel, but I'm not into the chase because I think it's just reversing the roles, and I think we have these stigmas with these men now, basically being babies. I'm not trying to take care of no man and be the the head of the household. I'm not. Y'all can laugh, but I'm just saying.
no, I agree with
No,
you.
I agree.
I'm just like, we're not about to start that.
I'm not tutoring no man.
I mean, I think it was our girl
Monique.
Miss Creative. Like they're hunters. I need you to hunt. Make me.
I need you to hunt. I need you to hunt. And I don't think that they want to hunt. And honestly, is it laziness? What is it that they don't want to hunt anymore? I don't want to assume, but
They
I'm
have
getting
more access. They
say it
have a
again.
lot more access now to people where it's not necessary. And so for many of them, they're just completely out of practice when it comes to that.
So, Bianca, I'm going to throw this question to you because you are here in Atlanta, like I am. And first, Home just said something about access, and we are outnumbering these men. And I was about to say these gentlemen. We are outnumbering them. Uh, so, is it access? Is it laziness? What is it that they feel that because we're outnumbering them that they don't have to do the work? What do you think? What do you think it is?
Well, in my opinion, I think Atlanta is just a totally different ballpark. I've lived in several states, several cities, and I travel to several states and cities for work. Atlanta is a different ballpark. I think it's multiplied like times 10 in terms of the expectations right now. I think in Atlanta in particular, we do outnumber the men. So anyone will, in my experience, anyone will approach you. It does not matter who, it doesn't matter where you are. It can be just someone laying on the street. It doesn't matter. That's just an Atlanta thing that I just picked up on. So I do find, in my opinion, in Atlanta, I feel like the men approach more here than I've seen in other places. And that's just because they feel like they can have anyone that they want because they know that, it's scarce out here for many women. So, but in other places, that I've been to, I think it's kind of flipped in a sense of, I think it's just the culture. Now we just have so many movements going on. And the culture right now is just, you see a lot of women are proposing to men. Everyone has their opinions on that, but that's a part of the new culture. This wasn't a thing 20 years ago. So now a lot of people are adapting to this way, not just men, also now women are. And do I think it's making it harder for the old fashioned women? Yeah, because now we're competing against women who approach men, they will just walk up to you. And like I said, I don't think it's necessarily anything wrong with that. But me personally, I like to be old fashioned. I like for the men to chase me. I like for them to approach me and initiate things.
Y'all, welcome, Miss Ida. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We're also Jay is going to be coming in any minute, but Ida, we're talking about right now today. A lot of the men are talking about they want to be the ones chased and approached. What do you think of that? What do you think? Go ahead.
Chasing and approaching are two different things, in my opinion. I don't mind. I'm definitely a person who, like, I'll speak to you first. Like, if I'm at the bar, if I like your shirt, whatever, I'm like, hey, that's a nice shirt, and like, consider yourself approached. Like,
I love
welcome.
her.
But I'm not gonna be like, hey, I've been watching you from the other side of the room. You know what I'm saying? You just look like a black king over here. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to know, if I could just be in your life. Like, I'm not gonna come like with nothing like that. But I don't mind speaking first. I don't mind like initiating like human contact. I don't mind that. but I'm not ever going to round out the conversation with, so can I call you sometime? I can't. And it's not because of any like societal constructs around dating. It's just because I have, and I'm okay with saying this, I have like the highest fear of rejection. So like I don't want to be like, so can I call you sometime? And then he pull a me on me like, I'm good. Like, oh my God, I just died. So like my fear of rejection protects me from a lot of stuff. That's why I know I can never see myself proposing. But also a part of that fear of rejection, and I'm just being transparent and honest, another part of that fear of rejection is like, if he does give me his number, then first of all, now I gotta call him. And then like if he does answer, is he just talking to me because I want to talk to him? Like, right. And that's, you know, that's probably like not only a fear of rejection, but like probably a little insecurity in there too. But if I initiate the conversation, that's like to me the biggest step in us even ever knowing each other. So I feel like I've showed you, like that's to me a lot of initiative. And I find that even when like I was out the other night and I don't know, this guy, I told him I liked his shirt or something, which was, I genuinely liked his shirt. I was like, that is a nice shirt. Where'd you get that from? And he told me where he got it from. And he was like, thank you. I was like, you're welcome. He was like, you want something to drink? I was like, hello, is water wet? So he asked me what I was drinking. He brought me a drink and literally was like, have a good night, and left. I wasn't trying to shoot my shot, but he was just like really flattered that I come in his shirt. And so like, it's okay just to have that kind of social interaction, because like, maybe he's married, but then like his homeboy was like, man, who was you talking to? That didn't happen, but it could have. So right. I'm okay with talking to people. I'm just a chatty person. Y'all know that's why I got sent home off the show first. So I don't have a problem with that, but I'm not going to be like, so I mean, you won't get breakfast after this? No, I'll eat my 2 tacos Jack in the Box in my car by myself like I've been doing for 20 years. Good day.
So I actually like what you just said. Consider yourself approached. If I say, hey, I like your shirt, or hey, like Kia said, you smell good. Like, what is that?
I basically just asked you to marry me. So like, what's up? That's as much as you're gonna get. As much as you marry me as you're gonna get. How you doing?
Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Can you turn your phone, or is your phone on
my phone?
Yes, just turn it.
Yes, I can. Okay, but I'm gonna turn the camera off so you don't see me being goofy.
Okay. Okay. And so yeah, do that for me. And then so I do want to ask another question. Actually, Ida, now that you've said that, consider yourself approached. If you've approached the guy, but I really want to go back to you. How can a man let you know that he's interested in you? If he's approaching you, how can he let you know, hey, I'm interested?
By asking for my number. Or just saying like, hey, would you like to stay in contact? What, like, it depends. Like, okay, people will say stuff like, so what do you like to do for fun? And then, you know, my list is very short. Or, you know, can we have lunch sometime? You can say what you want to say. It's about what you're going to do after you say all that. So like, for every maybe 10 people who ask me for my number or ask me, do I want to go out? Or like Friday night, this guy was like, let's do Sunday fun day. He had a whole itinerary, baby. When I tell you, he never called me. So, you know, it is what it is. He did send me a text message to say that I know you had a good day today. First of all, how you going to ask and answer your own question? What are you talking? I know you had a good day today. What?
Uh-oh.
I think that
turn her phone and now look.
Ida.
That's okay. She'll come back. She's got the link. But I'm actually going to go to the next question. And actually, this is kind of partially to her. But so let's say that you do meet somebody that you're interested in, right? And you think you want to take it to the next level. You're interested in building with this person. How long after you meet someone do you consider yourself, you know, in a relationship? And I'm not saying engaged, I'm not saying married or anything like that, but you know, that is a discrepancy. A guy, he's not thinking that could be for years. And we're thinking, listen.
Let's go ahead and jump in. From the words of Mr. Ron, you need to have that conversation. Don't assume. So it's at this point, like with me being older, I don't have time to play with you, you know, and even if it's just casual, I'm gonna say, okay, hey, you know, I'm not looking for anything. Let's just be clear, concise, and have, you know, set expectations. If I'm feeling you, like, hey, so, you know, what are we doing here? We need to clear understanding. So I can't really say a set time because it's just like I said, with my age, I'm not about to play with you. But if I'm feeling you, I just need to know so I don't, like I said, get my feelings hurt when I see you at a restaurant or see you at the mall with someone else. So let's just be clear. Like I said, I don't think it's a set time for me, but we're not about to play 3 years.
So we're not about to play 3 years, but Bianca, let's say you've been dating somebody 3 months. Like a lot of people are still following this 90-day rule. What do you think if you guys are dating exclusive? Well, what does exclusive look like to you?
So for me, I don't have timelines anymore. I used to, but I just don't anymore. I just think it depends on how it's flowing. Communication is imperative, like Kia was saying. We have to know where we stand so there's no confusion, there's no misinterpretation. So I don't think I'm your girlfriend, but you just think I'm your side piece or whatever it may be. We have to have an understanding from the beginning, from date one. That's when the initial question is, okay, so are you dating me just so we can chill? You want to be friends? Like, and it's not serious, like, oh, I'm dating, I want to get married. Not like, to that extent. However, I want to know exactly what you're doing, what your plan is. Like I said, if this is going to be something platonic or is it going to be something romantic? So communication, that's just imperative. But like I said, I don't have a time frame. Obviously, we're not going to be boyfriend and girlfriend in a week, you know, but because it takes time to get to know a person, but time is different for different people. And I just think it depends on how you all connect holistically.
So, and then I'm going to go to first home. So you said you don't have timelines anymore. So was there a point when you did have timelines and you said, I'm going to stop that? So was there a point?
Oh yeah. Yeah. So it was like, can't be girlfriend anything less than like 4 months.
Mhm.
We just have to be friends and getting to know each other. Then, if we even consider marriage, we have to be together for at least 2.5 years. But those to me, that's just unrealistic because you don't know how life is gonna where it might take you. You don't know what the ultimate plan is for you all. For some people, I know many couples they dated for 2 months from the time of meeting each other to the point that they even got married. And for some people, it's like, what, 2 months? Yeah, that was their story. And they're in a healthy relationship. Some people, they date for 5 years. It's different for each individual person. So I took down those time constraints because to me, it's just limiting.
What about you, first home? How long after you have been with someone do you consider yourself in a relationship or in that on that road to getting engaged, or do you consider yourself in a relationship?
For me, it's not time constraint. There are certain milestones and markers, such as, when I feel protected by this person, when I feel like I can trust this person to make a major decision, when I feel like this person would make a good decision for me if I needed to, rely on them. So for me, I used to do the timing thing too, but I found that for me it was more effective to set certain milestones, certain things that I look for, and then once we get to that place and successfully over that hump, then is when I would be able to consider possibly having a relationship.
Mhm. Hey Jay, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry,
Okay.
driving.
That's okay. That's okay. Thank you so much for joining us so early. So, how long after you meet someone do you consider yourself in a relationship? Do you do
Uh,
time or no?
I I necessarily don't do a time limit or a timetable or anything like that. I tend to wait till we start to have a certain dialogue with one another. So it's like a process of how much time you're trying to spend with me, how much going out we've been doing, how much communicating we've been doing. Then we start having a conversation of, okay, so where are we going? Where do you see us at? How do you view me? How I view you? It's a more of a conversation as it progresses to see because I used to be one of those people that in my head we're talking, so we're in a relationship. And, and I never checked in with that person to see where they stand on the relationship. And so they're out doing whatever they're doing, and I have no clue. So I started just going down the line and just let me know where you're at. And so I can gauge where I'm at. And if we're on the same page, then we can go forward with the relationship. And if we're not, we might need some more time of, doing whatever we're doing or start to go our separate ways. So that's really how I go about it.
Do you guys even consider, like, when I bring them around my family, that's a marker to me.
Mm.
What about, and I want to go to Miss Kia Simone. Do you bring a guy that you might be interested in? And I know that you are very particular around your family.
So y'all don't know me. I'm trying to be on good behavior today. I be on those secret squirrel missions. Like, no, you will not. Like, you have to really be in there for me to bring you around. I mean, like, even it's just a no. Like, because I don't want people to put expectations on me. Like, oh well, when y'all gonna start dating? He trying to get some, barbecue at the table, and then your Aunt Sally over there asking him, how long y'all dating? Y'all gonna get married? And so I just don't want that pressure of people start asking questions, because it seems like when you get to a certain age, people expect certain things. So just to keep that pressure, I don't even let them know what I'm doing. I'm just over here being an old maid. That's what I do. So I keep my secret squirrel missions going.
At first home, do you bring a guy that you think you like, but you're not for sure about him around your family?
Luckily, I live several thousand miles away from my family. No, so my family, I grew up in LA. I now live in Chicago, but my entire family doesn't live in Chicago. But I have noticed, I used to think that this was a major deal. But when it comes to the gentleman's side, a guy will bring you around his family as a move. It's a total move.
It's a
And it,
play.
yeah. Oh, hi, Ida's back.
Barely, girl.
You look
Barely.
so pretty. But yeah, and he could be bringing several women around his family, and the family know that they are conspiring and on his side. So you might not get that information from them. No one's looking out for you,
Oh, you're
okay?
not gonna get it.
Yeah.
I had a girl tell me straight up, yeah, but that's my cousin. I was like, okay, well, why you in my face then?
Y'all talk more about this move. Talk more about this. So
It's
this
a
is
move.
You
to
know
for
what I
Oh,
call
even.
it
her,
is a move.
Crystal? You know what I say? The raggedy mama. Behind every raggedy son, there's usually a raggedy mama, and the mama would sit there and offer you all kind of stuff. Hi, you want to have this brooch? Oh, you are so pretty. And then,
Oh
like,
no, they be playing it. Oh, you do taxes. Oh, okay. Oh, you sell makeup. You been engaged a lady all this free shit. You doing her eyebrows. She just is raggedy. They
Yeah.
someplace. I mean, who raised these people? The
Or
raggedy
what
mama
would
to
you
her
say
to
that
and
Simone's
he's
then
a
point.
favorite?
sometimes the mamas be trying to get a benefit, like you said, like Ida just said, like the mamas be in it for what they can get out of the girl, because they're, oh, you want my son? Okay, mm-hmm. So I don't, I'm not impressed if you bring me around your mom, because
Nope.
they're raggedy too.
But I think conversely, like my family knows if I bring somebody around, um, it's not because I feel any way about them. It's because like both my sisters are married. My parents are married. My brother was born with a girlfriend. So I'm like, shit, if I got somebody to bring, I'm gonna bring them. So I mean, and they can ask this person whatever they want to ask them. It's of no consequence to me. I'd be over there like, who made these deviled eggs? Like, I don't care. It's not that big of a deal to me. I think that it used to be a big deal for you to meet someone's parents because, like, my mom is gonna say what she wants to say, and my mom is the biggest finesse of them all. Oh, baby. Oh, okay, so tell me more about where your people from and all that. Then she'll call me and be like, so what's up with him? Because I mean, she'll tell me I didn't like him. I liked him. He seemed nice. Girl, he said, how many kids? Like she knows what's up. But I mean, I feel like there is a lot of playing that goes on in dating. And so maybe we should not say it's playing. Maybe that's just what dating is in 2021. Because another thing that men do really early is be like, what I'm saying, I don't know why you not married, but I mean, like, I could see us being married. I don't know if anybody else can attest to that, but I've not dated a man Listen, the guy I went to high school was like, "We got a promise ring for you because after college, gonna get married." And every guy I date be like, "Yeah, I mean, I just think we could get married. Yeah, I could get married. You could get married. That mean we marrying each other." I think that's
Right.
another part of it. But that's like I think that's like a new level of playing with people, like talking about marriage really early. I don't know
Hmm.
if anybody else has experienced that.
You're
Bianca, have you
exact.
experienced that? Have you experienced a man just talking about marriage or bringing you around his family and a little too early?
Yeah, absolutely. And usually that happens towards the holiday season. So, one and one makes two. You just don't want to be lonely on the holidays and you want to prove to your family you have someone. But
Well, as long as you buy
I
me a
actually,
gift, okay.
well, not for me. Or with me, I'm not really casual about bringing men around my family. If I bring someone around my family, he is highly considered as a husband. More than likely, I'm going to marry this dude. I think it can really get really difficult and really messy sometimes, especially if he bonds really well with my family and it just does not work out. I don't really want you still having contact with my family if we just don't work out because I'm going to move on. And in the future, that can be problematic.
Right.
I think
I
that's the
believe your
boundary
ex
you
is
have
your
to set
ex
with
for a
your family,
reason.
right?
Say that again, Ida.
Is that not a boundary? Like for me, that's the boundary that I set with my family. Like my family, no. Like I come in and I announce I'm not talking to. I dated a guy for 5 years, and I was like, I'm not talking to him no more. And my to this day, my sister would be like, the name we should not mention. I was like, okay, what about him? Like it's a boundary, but I understand what you're saying because your be families act like they are so invested. Like they be emotional when you be like, I'll talk to so and so no more. Like, why is that? Like, I get what you're saying though, because like you can't really govern what they do, and you don't want that to be perpetual if you're not going to talk to that person anymore. So I get that.
And I have to
I'm
agree with that.
laughing.
I have to agree with that too, because offline, me and Krista talked about something. Because my family is that raggedy family also. So they'll be the ones that they don't talk to them while y'all dating or kicking it, but all of a sudden they want to be best friends when it's something in there for them. And I had a cousin. I really had to. We fell out. She called me. Da 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 da. I said, okay, you know what? Keep that same energy. Remember where your bread is butter, because
Right.
he don't even like you. Let's just be real. And she was like, he don't like me. I said, no, he don't like you. He never did. So why you all trying to be his friend? He don't like you, and you always asking me for $100, $20 gas money. Boo, remember where your bread butter.
Hmm.
People don't have time to make new friends. I'm sorry. That's not what we're talking about.
Well, no, but I'm laughing because I have made that mistake, and I have met my ex's family, and his aunt was like, "Well, why don't y'all just get married?" Why? And I was like, "We have not. We really. I feel like it was like 6 months in, and yeah, we went to a barbecue, and she's like, "Why don't y'all just get married?" I was like, "I'm not even sure that I really like him, you know." And my mother was in town. We had lunch with my mother, and to this day, she still asks me about this guy. I was like, I wasn't really that. That was. I said I knew that this was a mistake. So, so to this day, she still. So I just love that question. But actually, now that Ida's back, I do have a question for you because you. It's so funny. How long after you meet someone do you consider them? Do you consider yourself being in a relationship? And I ask you that because you always say, listen, if I tongue and kiss you, that means that we go together. So
Oh, okay. So let me talk about the tongue kissing. I don't like kissing. I feel like kissing is very intimate. Um, I don't like kissing. If I kiss you, like that's how you know I'm serious about you. Like some people like if they meet my parents, if I do this, if I do that, if I kiss you, I really like you. I've always been that way. I'm just not a big kisser. Um, so yeah, so by the time we kiss, like we probably together already because like I don't want to kiss you. But um how do I know I'm dating somebody? They have to explicitly ask me to exclusively date them. Like I don't like the guessing and because I feel like even when you do like if somebody's like, I would like to date you exclusively. Okay, that sounds good. Even when you do all of that, people still have these expectations that they don't even tell you about that you don't know they have until you disappoint them. So we already have a level, it's already going to be a level of misunderstanding and confusion when you're trying to get to know somebody and you're actually dating. If you're not even really dating them, like, let me see. be golden. Like she was, I can't see, was saying earlier, like, I think that was you that was saying about how when you're dating somebody, if you aren't official, it's like you're doing things, you just kind of guessing your way through it. And the other person is like, I mean, I know I said I was going to call you back, but I mean, like, why you tripping? And you're like, what do you mean why I'm tripping? I woke up at your house this morning. What are you talking about? So we just need to be clear. Like, I like literally like every time I try to go home, like, I don't want you to leave. Let's go have brunch. And then like I don't hear from you until Tuesday. So let's just be clear from the beginning. If that's a conversation that person wants to have, and we can have it, but that has to be a conversation. And I'm not saying we have to have that conversation. I'm not gonna force it, but I'm not gonna assume we together. Because I've lived with people who I thought I was dating and they wasn't really dating me.
That's actually my next question, because a lot of times we make those assumptions. First home goal, have you ever made that assumption that you thought that you were in a relationship and y'all are all close to moving in together, and he just thought that that y'all were cool, y'all were not even in a relationship. Has that ever happened to you?
It has happened. Of course, when I was much younger, I kind of, was just going with the flow and that kind of thing, and not really, thinking far enough ahead to be intentional and to have conversations and to, and to find out, like Bianca said in the beginning, what he's even looking for, and to, have that information and know that. And so, yeah, when I was much, younger, I would assume. Now I don't assume anything. I think you can't assume anything at all. If you
Nope.
want, the only thing you can really know is something you've had an express conversation about, and even then, the only thing you can really know is something you've had an express.
That's my phone because I'm terrible.
Okay. So what is it? So let me, Kia, what does that conversation look like? So, like you said, don't assume.
So
What is
I'm
that
gonna
kind of? He
tell
needs to
y'all,
say, "Listen, we're in a
listen,
conversation."
listen, right now, when I did that all male panel, I'm gonna just shout out Ryan Freeman. He was like, "Listen, you need a contract. So, ladies, we need to stop assuming. Basically, you have to have that real conversation because they like the gray area." And when he said that, light bulb went off. I still haven't watched the full video, but I did hear that part when they was like, "Listen, we will ride that gray area until the wheels fall off." So, ladies, we just have to stop, like you said, assuming. It's okay to say, hey, we've been kicking it for a while. What are we doing? Because again, sometimes people will be thinking, guys do the same thing. I had to tell guys to pump their brakes. We don't go together. They be like, well, where you at? Why are you over there? Hold on, wait, pump your brakes. What we doing here? I never told you that. Why? So we just have to be clear when certain stuff start happening. You like, okay, let's just have a conversation. And that's just communication, just real talk.
Jay, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
You still there? Okay, good. So, what does that conversation look like? So, if you think that you're in a relationship and you want to make sure that he is and he's on the same page you are, what does that conversation look like to you?
I'm very forward in that part of the conversation right there. It's a straight up. So what are we doing? What's going on? Are we moving forward? Are you my man? Are we exclusive? It's that. We're not depending on how the questions are answered that derive how the rest of the conversation goes. But it's very straightforward. I'm not about to sit here and try to guess where you at and all this. I just need you to tell me straight up. So we can either, like I say, continue doing what we're doing if I'm cool with it, or go our separate ways.
Bianca, were you going to say something? Go ahead.
No, I agree with all the ladies. I'm extremely transparent with dating from the beginning. I'm not, I believe in open communication. I believe in knowing exactly where you are in your life, and I'm going to express to you where I am in my life. So there really shouldn't be a moment in time where I'm just confused, because to me, confusion just means no, we're not it. This isn't it. So if I'm confused, whatever I'm confused about, the answer
No
is
answer
no,
is an
no,
answer.
no. Yes, exactly.
That's what I always say. No answer is an answer.
Yeah. And I stuck on that question a little bit because I feel like sometimes we as women have been scared, or I must just say it straight up scared to even go there with the guys. And
I used to be very scared. I used to. be very passive, and I'll just wait to see when he brings up a conversation. I'll just wait to see what he thinks we are, what status, he thinks that we have. That used to be me because I think for so long, women were kind of raised, like, I mean, from the beginning of time, we were raised, most of us, to cook, to clean, and to kind of be that passive being in a relationship. And it just took growth and just learning and understanding what true womanhood really mean and what true manhood mean. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And
Mhm.
understanding that I don't have to be quiet, that I can have an opinion, and I can initiate certain conversations, and I can just be transparent and not wait around for you to tell me what we are, but for us to have a conversation together. A relationship is a two-party situation. It's just not one person deciding everything. And once I came to that realization that I can take a stand, and I can, like I say, express myself the way I need to, it's just complete transparency with me. So from the beginning, if I know that, if our morals are different, or if we have different expectations, or different goals and objectives, then I can make that decision early on. This just may not be the right thing.
So, okay, so my next question, I'm gonna go to first home first. In dating, like something Bianca just said to me, when you're dating and you know that, okay, his morals are off or it's just something's not aligned, how far into the relationship or how far into the dating experience do you notice, okay, something's not right, and I think that we need to go our separate ways? Do you notice right away? Because sometimes, I'll be honest with you, just like I said, our picker sometimes is off. Like we're not, yeah. So has your picker been off in the past and you just, oh, I'm just gonna stick with this for a couple months?
No, not a couple months. But I would say that I've learned to listen to myself, and early. A lot of times what we feel will happen, immediately. Sometimes it's when you met the person. Sometimes it was something happened in that first week, right? And then what happens is it comes out 3 months later, and you're like, you know what, I really knew that first week that something wasn't right. But I would say, depending on what the something is, will determine, if you should stick around. Is this a character trait? Is this a behavior? Or is it something that happened in isolation? Was it a reaction to something else? And so, outside of abuse and craziness, I think most human behavior can be modified if the person, not you, if the person wants to modify it. So I would base it on that. So if there's any issue, I would say if the person sees it as an issue and wants to change, then it's worth moving forward. If not, do not.
Kia, has there been, go ahead.
Well, you know me, I can care less. Like, at this point, I keep saying, like, I've been in a marriage or relationship my entire adult life, so now I'm free. So when people try to approach me now, it's like I right away, if I don't like it, I'm out. It's just like I don't care. I'm not in need of anything, so it's not like people are like, oh, aren't you lonely? No, I'm good over here. So I don't have to put up with foolishness. It's not like, you're like, oh, I really, how sometimes men, I think they think we're desperate. And that's why we put up with a lot, or you'd be like, oh, I'm just gonna clean on. He's gonna get it together. Yeah. So what? He claiming that he's helping his mama, but he really living in his mama house. I don't have time for all that. Go
Oh
ahead
no,
and
his
take
mama
it.
live with him. His mama live with him.
Oh yeah, his mama live with him.
You
Right.
gotta get it
I don't
right.
live with her. She lives with me. Like,
Right.
Yeah, all that stuff. So I
But
don't
why
have
she got the master bedroom? Okay.
right.
yeah, why she got the master bedroom? So I don't have time for that. So like I said, I shared a story. Everybody that's on this channel, they heard it a million and one times. But like the guy who begged to go out with me, and then you showed up like you just rolled out of bed, and then you never wanted to approach me. It was just like a lot of stuff that was wrong. So we're gonna be continuing this because I don't have time. I have a lot of other things on my plate. So I'm not trying to build a bear, build a man, none of that. So I'm just out real quick.
And I feel like a lot of times in relationships, especially if you, okay, I like him, but, and we put up with things that we know, because we as women, we have great intuition. We know that this is a red flag, that this is not something that's going to last a long time, but we start to put up with something. Go ahead, B, you were going to say something. Oh, okay. So yeah, I feel like sometimes we in relationships we put up with stuff that we know we shouldn't, and we just keep passing things, letting things pass us by. So my next question is about respect. So, and I don't know if Sean and Filters is still in here, but that is something that's huge for men. They always talk about one of their top things that they consider is respect. So, what does, and I'll go. You know what? I'm gonna go to first home first, and then I'm gonna go to Jay. What does respect look like for you when you're first dating and in a relationship?
For the gentleman to be respecting me, or for when respecting him, since it's such a big deal for them.
Yes. You know what? For the gentleman to be respecting you.
um, Being very clear about what my boundaries are, what I expect, what I like, right? So I have to be able to, because people always talk about common sense, but there's no such thing. We all because we're not common. We have different backgrounds. We could be from the same group and have very different experience. And so as an individual, I have to be able to show up and be able to communicate how I want someone to respect me, whether that is, and to quantify it, right? So I can't say I like somebody who likes to communicate. That's way too broad. What I've learned to say is I appreciate when a man can get back to me within, no more than a couple hours, even if it's just to say that he's busy. And that makes me feel respected. And because I think sometimes if we don't communicate those things, people walk into situations and they mess up because they don't know that that was a mess up. So I think the more that you can communicate what you expect, what you like, what respect is for you, in a real quantifiable way, the more you'll get that.
I like that in a real quantifiable way that
Right.
actually those sustainable things that spells that out for them. Okay, another round. Jay, are you there? You still driving?
Yeah, I'm still driving. I'm here though.
What does respect look like for you? Because as you know, and Sean talks about respect a lot, and respect is so paramount to men. What does that look like for you as a female, for you as a woman?
I mean, respect is just as paramount to women as well. You know, you're gonna get what you give. So I'm the type of person. I'm kind of like first home. If I call you or text you, be respectable enough to respond to me in, a timely fashion. I understand that you could be busy or whatnot. So, just keep me up to speed on what's going on, but don't just stonewall me and just go ghost on me, you know. Um, don't ever talk above a tone because everybody knows if you listen to my channel, once you start talking over a certain decibel, I shut down. I'm not listening to you anymore. I'm thinking about a whole bunch of other things going on in my life other than you. Um,
Period.
I Yeah, I don't do, you're not gonna be calling me all kind of B, C's, anything outside of my actual name that you do know, or babe or honey, sweetie, anything nice and pleasantry, you're not gonna disrespect me in that manner, or disrespect my family, my kid, none of that. Anything that I love like that, you're not gonna disrespect, you know. Respect goes all the way to my possessions. Don't break my stuff. Don't disrespect my home. Don't tear up my things because you're having a fit or whatever. Just politely leave. Go about your business. And I would do the same with yours because I don't do that. Don't go through my stuff. You know those type of things without my permission. So that's kind of like what respect look like to me. And of course it's the communication thing. If I say something to you and you're being attentive and you're actually trying to apply the things that I'm saying, because I know that, like, first home said, we don't come from the same household, and even in the same household we might still see things differently. So if I'm saying certain things bother me and I see you putting the effort not to do those things, I can rock with you. I can
Right.
be with you because that means that you're actually listening to me enough to try to respect my boundaries. And so I can give you back the same, like, I'm just a mirror of what I see. So whatever you're going to give me, I'll give you back in return.
Bianca, I want to ask you about that respect too. And it's so funny because I feel like a lot of guys don't think that we hold respect in the same in this the same level. So what does respect look like to you in a relationship?
Um, I think the main thing is boundaries, and that's something that has to be verbalized. I can't always think of everything from the top of the head, like, oh, this is gonna bother me or this isn't. I think it's just to piggyback on with what many of the other ladies were saying with tone of voice. One of my main things that I go by is like, you're not gonna call me anything other than my father would call me, referring to my heavenly father. Like, you're not, so if it's not aligned with that, then no. So I don't believe in, like, if I'm upset, I'm not gonna even call you stupid, because that can be a trigger for some people, or idiot or whatever, that can be a trigger. And a lot of people use that really lightly. But for some people, that can really take them to a place. I believe in, just not provoking each other. You know, what else? I'm trying to think. I mean, it's a lot of things. I'm just trying to think of it from the top of my head in terms of respect. Pretty much what everyone said. Boundaries, not going through my stuff, not doing anything without let us communicate.
Right.
One thing, I had a conversation with a few months ago, actually, with a gentleman. He was about 68 years old, and he was telling me the keys to a successful relationship. These are two things. One is communication. Two is cooperation. I was like, well, elaborate on that.
I love
And
that.
pretty much, just to sum it up, you can't have an expectation on something that we never talked about. Now, if we sat down and we had conversations about something, then obviously that's where cooperation comes from, because now you understand my lifestyle, I understand yours, we understand each other boundaries, we understand the no's, the don'ts. So in this relationship, there should be cooperation because we have healthy, active communication.
Hmm. Go ahead, Kia.
So respect goes a long way for me because it's bigger than just in a relationship. Because if you don't respect people outside of a relationship, usually that's going to come inside of the relationship because that's who you are inside. So I'm big on respect, whether it's in the workplace. Like, no, we're not about to do that. You're going to respect me. So you don't respect me, then we can't continue this working relationship. So with that being said, even in a personal relationship, when you're in an intimate relationship, I watch how he respects his mom. Do you cuss in front of your mom? Because that's disrespectful to me. How you treat others. If you always going somewhere and you're on 100, people are like, well, that's a whole nother topic. We're gonna talk about your reality TV on another show. If they like, people want to say, well, he didn't do me like this or they didn't do me like that. Okay, but your time will come. So I'm a big component. I've been a big person where I say, okay, treat me how I'll treat you. So I'm gonna treat a person how they want to treat me, but other people have different love languages. So if you tell me, that's communication, where you say, well, you know what, Kia, this bothers me, and I just like disregard what you're saying. Like, you could tell a guy like, hey, well, I think it's disrespectful when, you keep talking to Sally for 2 hours at the barbecue and then he keeps doing it. You just disregarded my feelings. I told you it's disrespectful, but you just to sit over there with Sally the whole time. You don't care. That's a big thing if they disregard your feelings. So again, I just look at the big picture because again, most of the people that I found that was disrespectful later with me, they've always been disrespectful, but it was just with other people. And then I got my turn. So I think we just pay attention how they also treat others.
I agree. And something that Jay just said is that I definitely, if I say to you, I don't like this, you doing something, and I say I don't like this, and you pay attention to that, I truly appreciate that you're paying attention to that. That means that you're considering me and that you're considerate of my feelings. And Kia always says this, and I always have to remember that, no, because I definitely live by this as well. How does he treat his mother? How does he does he respect her? Don't be cussing or treating his mother negatively, then I definitely pay attention to that. I don't. Did I go to you, Ida? I really want to talk
No,
about. Go ahead.
you didn't.
Okay.
Can you restate the question?
Yes. What does respect look like to you? If a man,
Okay.
go ahead.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm a Let me come back to the camera because I was trying to fix something, but y'all know my technical is up to date. Um, so I think that I'm always this person. I like to make the analogy. I'm like a teacher. You start off with 100 in my class. What you do to keep your 100 is up to you. Always start there. I'm always going to give you the benefit of the doubt at the gate because I never want to be a person that is holding you, like somebody said previously, to expectation that hasn't been set yet. So that's number one. Number two, I'm a here and now person. I'm not like, we get to the barbecue, to Kia's point, and I'm gonna watch you all day doing something that I just don't like. And then we get in the car and I'm kikiing all day. Oh yeah, oh my God. As soon as we get in the car, no. I'm hearing that person. I'm like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? And I'm gonna say it with a smile on my face. Usually by like the third time I do that, nigga know like she got that smile on her face, that smile, I'm about to have a conversation. But it doesn't have to be like doom and gloom. Like, hey, I just wanted to let you know. That made me feel uncomfortable. So like I would be more comfortable if maybe you introduce me first to a woman I don't know before you just start talking to them. Or hey, we just don't leave me by myself here with your family because I came here with you. Just having respectful conversations that also set expectations and not, it's very important for me not to be condescending because I don't want anybody to be condescending to me. And I think that people like to hide behind, well, that's just how I am, or that's how I've always been. So when somebody tells you something like that, can, you don't have to accept that. You say, hey, I understand that, but I want you to know that as a person I'm dating, you're always going to get the best part of me. So if I come home from work and I had a bad day, I'm not going to be like, what you looking at? No, we're not like this. You're supposed to be my peace. I'm supposed to be your peace. You're always going to get the best part of me. And that includes the highest level of respect from me. Now, at the beginning, like, so let's just skip over the fact that you shouldn't be dating somebody that you don't feel like you can respect. You have to work towards respecting. I'm not going to date you if I don't respect you. And like I said, you start off with a 100, but also to Kia's point, how you treat other people. We're at a restaurant and you doing this to the waiter. No, we at, you letting down the window and throwing trash out on the highway. Absolutely not. Will not deal with a little bug. I know that's so petty, but like seriously, like that to me, like that says a lot about people, just, being rude to people unnecessarily. One thing I saw one of my, somebody I dated do, I brought them some food to their job. I was like, I had to stop by, bring some food. And it was literally a man, like in front of the building we were standing in front of, eating out the trash can or looking for food in the trash can. He just walked over and gave him the food. And my first inclination was like, but then I was like, you know what? Like, wow, that says a lot about who he is as a person. And so I was like, he told him to share the food with the other guy that was over there. And I was like, well, that other guy can have my food. So I'm like, damn, like that kind of put something on my heart. And that, that just
That had effect on
made
you.
me respect him more as a person, not so much as like somebody I'm dating. Like he would do that for a stranger, but in other areas, we had conversations where I was like, listen, I understand this is how you are and this is how you handle things and this is how you problem solve and this is how you talk to people. But my expectation is that you'll handle me a little differently. If you want to get your point across, if you want to get the result that you want to get, I'm telling you how to get it. And if you can't be agile in that way, then I am going to interpret that as some level of disrespect because I've told you what works for me. I've told you that I'm willing to be agile as well. And if you're asking me to do something, telling me you don't like something, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. So to me, respect is a lot of different things, but how I've tried to govern respect in my relationships is asking questions, being honest with my answers, dealing with what I perceive as like a potential issue in the here and the now, not waiting, not being like, and another thing, I know it's February, but for Christmas, at your mama house, blah, 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 blah. I don't do that. Right. And if a man comes to me and tells me about something that happened like more than 72 hours ago, he going back a month, 2 months, 3 months, this is also telling me a lot about you. So I think it's a lot of things, and I think it's going to be different with every person. But obviously, what I can consistently tell you is what works for me. And I'm not a person that requires a lot. I'm not like when I come in the room, you need to stop in the middle of your conversation and come greet me. I'm not that person. But if I'm like, hey, I'm leaving the club or whatever, and I'm gonna come over, and you like, all right, I'll see you when you get there. And I'm like, hey, can you come downstairs? Like come, meet me in my car. And you, uh, uh, whoa, 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 like. Okay, like I'm going home, and it's no problem. But note it. Okay, I know that now. But you're not going to I don't know if you guys have ever heard this term, like ferberization, like it's this thing people do with their babies, like just let them cry it out, basically let them
Yes.
self-soothe, let them figure it out. I think that sometimes like men don't know they're doing this, but they'll try to ferberize you, which is like basically I'm gonna do something until you just shut up about it. Like I'm gonna wear you down. You're gonna stop complaining about it. You're just gonna deal with it. That's a level of disrespect. If I'm like, hey, I've asked you more than once to do XYZ or to not do XYZ, and you still do it, and they just like,
Out of
oh,
there.
yeah, like we can't talk about this. But sometimes you don't see that until later in a relationship because you're not going to have every like experience in the first 3 weeks of dating somebody. So then you have to make a decision like, is this a deal breaker for me? So I know that was a lot, but it is a lot
No, I'm
that you
laughing
should think
because
about.
that's happened to me. I'm laughing because I was like, you think I told you I don't like this, but you think it's cute. You think that this is
Or they
cute.
just like I've had people tell me like that's just who I am. And so I'm like, well, I could tell you who I am. Like, you don't want to know who, listen, I know who I am, but you don't want to know who I could be.
Right.
Like, I tell people all the time, you've never seen me upset. Oh, well, you were really pissed. You think that was pissed? It's precious. You've
That
never
is
seen me
so
pissed.
that gosh. I love that because that has actually happened to me. And I was like, why do you keep doing that? You think that it's not funny. It's not cute. Stop doing that. So I really want to go to this listening question because men and women, you know that we communicate differently. I hope Jay will come back in a minute. But so a lot of people, there's this idea that women listen to respond and men listen to advise. What do you guys think of that? Let me go to Kia first. Or no, you know what? Ida, go ahead.
Put that on a fucking shirt. Excuse the language.
Go ahead.
I just go to Kia first because I don't want to react out of emotion to that question. Go to Kia first.
Go.
Kia's so reasonable.
Yes.
She
She's
already
trying to
told
be
you
nice.
she's been married, she's single, she's good.
Nice and sweet. Detroit, East Side Kia come out. She
Baby.
So no, honestly, see, I'm probably not the best one to answer this question because that's my job. I get paid to listen, so I get paid to actively listen. So I listen to keywords, I hear it all, so I pay attention. So I may not talk a whole lot, but I do be listening. So,
But that's
but
her point. That's what women do. We listening, we're hearing, we're comprehending, we're thinking about solutions. And men are listening so they can somehow come back and act like the dad you never had.
well, my ex, he told me he always wanted to be in fix it mode. So he was like, "We're listening to fix it. We want to solve a problem." Like, so sometimes I don't want
But
you to
he
solve.
didn't fix it because he's not here. Bless his heart.
Bless
X.
his heart. He's
Maybe he needs to be listening for understanding.
Yeah, he be fixing the wrong stuff. I'll be like, that I didn't say that's not what I said. So he didn't comprehend what I was saying. But no,
He's
I'm
not there
actually
yet.
listening. Like I said, even though I'm actively listening, I'm trying to, like I said, I'm an empath also. So I'm thinking about how, the feelings behind it. So a lot of stuff, I feel for everyone. So I feel for the bum on the street. I feel for everyone. So when I'm listening to him, I'm actually trying to feel why he felt that way. Like, well, okay, what will make him think that? So then, okay, I'm gonna ask him. I'm a life coach also. So I'm like, okay, sir, what made you think that? When people are like, oh, people don't like me. Okay, well, where did you get that from? What made you think that? So when I'm listening, I'm asking additional questions also. So I'm coming up with, trying to make sure I'm having a clear understanding. Okay, so is this what I'm hearing? I heard you say XYZ. So sorry, I'm a listener for a living.
Go ahead,
Crystal,
Ida.
can you repeat the phrase
Yeah.
that you just said?
So the question is, so a lot of people say that women listen to respond and men listen to advise and constantly want to advise and fix the problem. And that's not always the case. Sometimes we just need you to listen and be an active listener. What do you think about that, B?
Yeah, I definitely heard that phrase a lot, and it's not the case for all of us. But I do notice that it's the case for some. A lot of women just listen to respond and typically aren't really listening, are just kind of biting at it. I've seen that a lot. And I think with men, a lot of men like to solve problems. They like to not even go through, the entire every single point. They just, what's the solution from the beginning? What's the solution? Where we're more, I think a lot of times women, we like to communicate more so you can truly have an understanding why I feel this way, why this bother me. Or a man's just like, okay, what's wrong? How do I fix it? I think for me, I've learned more how to just be a listener and not necessarily listening to respond, but listening just to so I can marinate on that and let it sink in. I think that's even with my career on the acting part of that, I have to listen a lot. And it's not to respond, it's listening to understand. So I took that into my real life. Let me just hear you. And sometimes I have to sit on it for a minute. But yeah, that's my
I
little
agree.
response to that.
And that's so funny because a lot of that's what I run into a lot. Oh, somebody wants to just run in and fix it. And sometimes I just need to I'm an active listener. Okay, let me hear it, let me understand it, let me sit on it and come back. So
But that's
we're
a conversation also that's deal has a lot to do with conversation that needs to be had, because when you find someone that's like that, even though I just said he not here no more, it didn't work out, but we had to have a conversation because he would be trying to fix the wrong stuff. So I had to have a sit down and was like, hey, I get that you want to fix everything, but sometimes I just need to vent. So we had an agreement that, okay, I'll sit down and be like, okay, this is a venting session, not a fix it session. So you sometimes have to be clear with even your friends. Like I'll call one of my girlfriends, like, listen, I don't need you to fix it. I'm going back to work tomorrow. I just need to vent. Okay. So sometimes it's just a communication.
I think that's a huge difference.
go ahead. Do we have to quantify that? Do we have to say, listen, I'm just
No,
You
I
ain't
think it's a
like,
huge difference
hey,
because I think women enjoy communicating. We enjoy getting thoughts out, hearing thoughts back, kind of, germinating over ideas. And men, their goal when we are communicating and enjoying it is to end the communication. So then that's where the advisory thing comes in because they're like, how can we solve this so that we can stop communicating about it?
Uh,
And right, because men enjoy experiencing, right? So they want to get over the communication part and get to the experience that they would like to have with us.
I agree with that.
or they just want to get back to watching the game,
That's an
Yeah, that's true
experience.
too. That's an
That's an
experience.
experience.
because I do that at work. I part of my job is problem solving, and I'm like, they'll tell me the whole story, and so like one of my key questions is, what's your desired result before you
Right.
start this whole long story? What do you need me to do? And like,
Mhm.
I don't ask that to like that's at work. Like if it's somebody just like regular, like I'm like, I hope they're not asking me for something at the end of the story. But no, but I definitely agree with that. That they're listening to they want to be as brief and concise as possible.
Wrap it
Um,
up.
they like, okay, so like the guy I used to talk to would be like, okay, so you got off test, like what's going on? I'm like, first of all, let me tell these two side stories because it's gonna tell you more about the first story. They don't want to hear that. That's too goddamn bad.
right. I totally agree, Ida. Sometimes I just need to tell you everything that's going on so you
You need the
understand.
context.
You need the context. So and that, yes, that has definitely happened to me before. So you know what? Jada says some guys don't listen to fix it. They listen to figure out what you want so they can shut you up for the moment and then cover their dirt. covers it
I
better.
don't need you to put a band-aid on it because again, that's like a temporary fix. So you temporarily fix the problem, then it's still gonna come back. So it just
So, okay, and what's up, David? David says it's often our nature as men to try to fix problems that come in our life. Part of the reason they say men want peace, so we try to fix problems. We can learn to listen more. All right, thank you. See,
The best advice an older woman family member ever gave, 'cause I come from married people. Everybody was married when I was growing up. The best advice was don't have friends. Don't talk to your husband. That's not what he's for. Have friends in your life, have a support system, people that you share your interests with, and people that just love you and want to talk to you because it's too much of a burden to put on only your spouse.
mm,
Mm,
interesting.
Yeah, and I'll paraphrase that as get you a therapist
Right.
because
that
number
too.
one, you're going to get to a point where number one, you tired of telling the same story to different people. That's tiring. And then also these people are not here to solve your problems. Now, it's like emotional dumping. That's a real thing. Especially if you have the same, you want to talk about the same shit all the time. That's cool. Pay your copay and go tell that same story to your therapist. Like seriously. And I'm that person. I journal and I talk to my therapist because she's paid to listen to me say the same shit. And she's paid to hear me say, I know this sounds stupid, but your
Right.
friends don't need to hear, like when you're in high school, you're 16, 17, 20, go for it. Y'all ain't doing nothing. Y'all drinking pink panties at home. I don't know if I used to drink pink panties. Anyway, but you just chilling and nobody really has a lot of things going on. My two best friends, one is married with the kids, the other one got two kids and like a farm full of pets. Not really, they have a bunch of pets over there, but it's unfair to continue to dump on people. And I don't know who said it because it went away. And also you said it as well, first home too, right? That it's unfair to come home and dump on your spouse
Yeah.
all the time. Yeah, yeah. Like whoever I'm dating is gonna know the whole storyline at work. I'm gonna be like, let me tell you what happened today on the Zoom call. Like it's because like we'll have like a banter, or they'll be like, so what happened when you told so and so such and such? Like that's the fun part. But you can't just be like, you know what? I just feel like my life is going nowhere. Nobody wants to hear that story 3 times. We get a therapist. Get in a
And
Facebook support group.
And people are saying, make your spouse or make your man your best friend. I agree with that, but not necessarily he has to be your sounding board every time. That's I
Because
yeah.
then he gonna come home with the, well, Lisa from work listens to me. She just be giving me advice. Oh, so you need somebody to
Does
talk
she?
to? Yeah, you need somebody to talk to because like he can't talk to you because you got your problems overrun it. Your problems overrun it. But it goes both ways. But I think that's very important. Like in life, in any relationship, like I had to tell my mom. I'm like, hello. I mean, let me tell you. I said, hold on, hold on, hold on. First of all, my day was okay. No, I'm not busy. What's going on with you? And she had to like have a moment. She apologized and she's like, I didn't realize that every time I call you, I just start talking and I don't even know what's going on with you. People have an expectation of you sometimes, or like, oh, they think that you ain't got nothing else to do. Like, I don't. But like, I also just want to watch a snap marathon. Like, I don't care
Right.
if I'm just going to do it. Doesn't mean I want to be your sounding board. So I think that's really important to be accountable to yourself in any relationship and not abuse. It is abuse at some point. After I've heard this story 10 times, you abusing me now.
Mhm.
With that, I think that's very important.
I agree with you. I just sometimes if we're hearing the same story 10 times and nothing's happening, you're not doing anything about it, that does get frustrating. That does get frustrating.
but
You
that
know,
goes back to what I just said. A therapist. Everybody's saying it. Like therapist, go get you a therapist.
Therapy.
How
there.
are you supposed to listen to it all day,
That's
every
true.
day until your co-pays run out or you just run out of money. But
Right.
just go to a therapist. Like at the end of the day, there's so many of them. They're plentiful. So go get you a therapist and get you a good one that you vibe with.
And we've been
We
talking
get
so
you
much.
a plan and just tell them I want no advice. I just want you to listen. Just
Right.
get one. It's not
Well,
for you.
my opinion on this is that I do think you should definitely have multiple outlets. There are certain things I'll speak to my mom about. There are certain things I'm not married, but if I had a husband, I would want to speak to him about. Because kind of like what Crystal said earlier, like that's my best friend. So I should be able to confide into you, and I should be able to vent sometimes. Not all the time, that's overwhelming. Whether it's your husband, whether it's your mom or your friend, it's overwhelming to anyone. One thing that me and my friends, a few of my friends are now practicing is if there's a situation where either of us need to vent, the first question is, do you have the capacity to receive right now? Do you have the capacity to receive this energy? And if it's no, then we just don't talk about it. Then I journal about whatever the case might be. And I think that's just a really important question, that no matter what type of relationship that you are in, you never know what the other person is going through. So everyone doesn't need that energy all the time, especially if you're a person who has to vent every single day or multiple times a week, because it is draining. So, and I think it's respectful when you ask, do you have the capacity? And if we're true friends, you will be able to receive my honesty and accept that.
Right.
Love
I
that.
agree with that, B. So I'm going to ask the last question, and then we're going to actually get into something fun. But a guy told me we were on a date once, and he said that a woman decides if we're going to have sex. A man decides if we're in a relationship. Do you think men are the ones that make the decision to be in a relationship? Do we, or do we have that say in the matter? I'm going to start with first home.
I'm hearing that a lot. I heard another iteration of that. The woman controls the sex, the man controls the marriage, or something like that. It's very similar. Um, I think we're definitely in control of when we're comfortable, taking that next step. I think that I think women are trained to want relationships and to settle down and to want the marriage. And so men are the ones who have to kind of come to a place in themselves where that is what they want. It's a very specific thing that happens to them at a very specific time, and there's no way to affect it. So in that way, it's all about that timing, and you can't really do anything but wait on it.
What do you think about that, B? What do you think about that saying? Can you hear me, B?
Let me unmute. There we go. So I think I kind of believe in a collective. I don't believe it's just up to one person. I think as adults, we both have to make a decision. Um, so that's just for me. Like I'm deciding when we're in a we're both deciding. I'm not. You're not just deciding that. And that goes for both parts with the relationship and the sex part. Like it has to be a mutual agreement. Um, what obviously with the relationship we would have been having conversations prior to. It's not just, oh, one day we're at a table and it's, are we in a relationship? No, there has to be signs and certain conversations we've been having. It's not just, oh, surprise. So I'm not caught off guard with you making a decision. So for me, it's I'm all about collectivity and just coming together. I'm about, yeah, partnership.
Kia, what do you think of that? The idea that the man is the one that decides if we're in a
I knew you were
relationship.
gonna ask me. So okay,
Hmm.
first of all, they're not even getting my cookies. So that may sound like weird. In 2021, that girl like saving herself, or not that I've never had sex because I had a whole husband, but I'm not. Right, it's clear that Kia Simone is not giving out her cookies. Now, when you my husband, you can have all the cookies you want, but that's my decision. So he would be aware of that. But as far as relationship, I think it's a mutual relationship. It's like I said, I've had guys that try to put me in a relationship, and I was like, no, 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 no. So I think it's a mutual thing. Again, that goes with that conversation also.
Ida. So does a man decide if you guys are in a relationship and you decide if you want to have sex, or is it a mutual collective, as B said? Is it a collective decision?
For me, I'm never going to initiate. I'm not going to ask you, do you want to be with me? So on that part, for me, I can't speak for everybody else. That's his invitation to extend. It's my choice to accept or decline. So the invitation has to be extended for me to decline it. So then yeah, the man does decide the relationship. For me, up until 2021, I feel like yeah, it's the woman's decision about sex. I mean, I'm guessing. I'm just gonna say this. I'm not like the typical, or I'm not like a lot of my friends that are like, um, very like. I don't have a lot of. I don't. How do I say this without sounding like? Um, I don't. I'm not that like. I don't know. I'm very liberal. Like if I want to have sex with somebody, I'm like,
Okay.
okay, like I'm not gonna be like I seen him across the bar. I'm gonna have sex with him. No, but like I'm not. I don't. I'm not at the point in my life, and maybe I should be. Maybe that's why I'm single. Maybe that's why I've never been married. Maybe I need to change my ways. We'll never. We will never know. But in my last relationship, my boyfriend was the one that was like, we need to wait until marriage to have sex. So he actually controlled both, and I really had a hard time with that. And we had a lot of like uncomfortable conversations. They weren't comfortable for me because I was like, so when you say marriage, I mean, like, can you be more specific? Like, can you get some more details? Like, I mean, like, are you ready for love? I mean, like, I just don't understand what you mean by no sex. Like, you mean like no sex? Because you know, oral sex is really sex.
I was
I
gonna
mean,
say,
like, can
like,
you explain? And the
no.
answer was like, it ain't no sex. And I was like, but I don't understand what you're saying. I mean, he told me that on our first date, but I was like, okay, that's cute. Yeah, I say I
But
be
what's
extra.
funny is you didn't believe him. You were like,
He
okay,
thought it was a
no.
move.
I was like, I gotta be extra. I know you see it. He was not being
Right.
extra. He was not kidding.
What were you saying first, home? What were you saying?
Well, some guys say that in the beginning, and it's a move. It's another move.
Girl, and that was not a move. I was like,
Yeah,
so I mean,
he was
I've
honest.
never had a guy say that ever.
I
Ever.
told him I
Shout
finally
out
broke
to
down and told him. I
Atlanta.
said, well, listen, I'm gonna need you to pray with me. Like I'm for real. I'm gonna need you to pray with me. Pray the spirit out with me. Yeah.
I love Ida.
So, so actually, that leads me to my next question, then, Ida, because then you weren't there. You weren't in the position to say "I do," and you wanted the sex. That's never happened. That's never happened to me. But I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
I got a few stern talking tos, like, and then finally he was like, usually, like, basically, like, damn, usually women are
Mhm.
okay with this, and I'm like, but I feel like I know you had said it on our very first date, but I was just thought you were being cute because you was cute.
So you know what? Excuse me, I just making me laugh. Um, do we as women have a problem, or not? Maybe not a problem, but are we surprised when a man is intentional with us? Because um I that's happened to me, that I said, "Oh, he's serious." Like he's being, because we've had so many bad relationships, because we've had so many guys that have run game on us. When the good man comes along, then we don't recognize him. Go ahead, B. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely would say yes, surprised because we're not used to it. It's not the norm. However, although I'm surprised by it, I am so appreciative for it. I am so grateful for it. Like, I haven't had that yet keyword, but I am I am open to receiving that. But that goes back to transparency. The intentional is being transparent. It's a step above honesty. Honesty is, if I ask you something, you can tell me yes or no. Transparency, I don't even have to ask you, you just present me with something.
Mhm.
So for me, unfortunately it is surprising, but hopefully maybe that can start to change, and it can level out a little bit for us.
First home, does it surprise you sometimes when a guy is being sincere and like intentional?
It doesn't surprise me, but I agree with Bianca that it's rare. Like, as women, we get attention all day, all the time. And so you're used to just that, oh, you're just doing that thing, So we get used to that. And so in proportion to the men who approach us seriously and are being intentional, that is a much smaller number. Absolutely.
Right. Kia, does it surprise you sometimes if you met a man that was actually being sincere and intentional, because you've had so many um, insincere guys and guys that have run game on you? Has it been um, A surprise when a guy is intentional.
I haven't got to that point yet in all these years on this earth, so I haven't reached that. But I will be surprised. Like I said, I'm gonna say that word yet. You know, 'cause I've dealt with a lot of jokers, so that's why I'm intentional now. So you know, and I said, Lord, let me see him when he comes. Because I done dealt with so many jokers. So you know, right now I can't say I've had that yet, Crystal.
I want to go back to Monique's question, or what Monique's statement, because she said, "I am so guilty of running from men who are dating with intention. I'm usually creeped out, and I know that's so wrong because that's happened to me where I was like, is he serious? And so because I don't recognize it right away, I immediately look for the red flags or look for the other shoe to drop. So yes, that has
Oh
happened.
no, I'm the opposite. I'm like, okay, you being intentional. Okay, you looking for a wife. Okay, well, like then I'm like, okay, let's do this. Like to me, it's more of a challenge for them. Like when you're like, okay, then what's up? Then tell me what you want me to do. Then lead, and I will follow. And they'd be like, and some most of the times they fold. Now, Monique, if you know, if it's like a few of them, and y'all still friends, y'all still cordial, and you gonna pass on them, don't pass them to, you know what I'm saying? It's a few single ladies in the chat.
Right.
Um,
Pass
just
them right
put their
here.
ass. I'm kidding, Monique. Don't. It's okay. But no, if somebody really wants to be intentional, like I honestly, I feel like my first thing is to challenge that. Like, oh shit, I dropped my Dr. Pepper. But my first thing initially is to challenge that by being like, okay, like I'm up for a challenge because it's really easy to get played. Like I do that more often than not. But if somebody wants to be serious and they're like, hey, on Tuesday, let's do this. I'm like, ooh, I wait for him not to call me. Right when he don't call me, then he called me on Wednesday, bitch, I'm ready. But then if he called me on Tuesday, I'm like, he said 5. Yeah, I'm on my way. You know, so now you really got to get dressed
Mhm.
because I didn't expect him to call. But like, so I like to challenge this intentionality because that's becoming a new buzzword for people,
It
for
is.
men. They watch 2 Derek Jackson videos or whoever, and now everybody's intentional. Whatever. But yeah, I like that. I appreciate it. I welcome it. But it usually, I'm still single. And like, just
Right.
put a period in that, and I'm still single, so whatever.
So okay, so now ladies, and let me start with first home. What are your top let's start at 5. What do you want from a man? What do you want from a man? So what are your 5 you want, and then say what you need? What are those things that are that's a deal breaker that you cannot do without it where a man's concerned.
Of course, all my wants are needs.
Good, good, good.
But
Good. I'm glad. Because sometimes some people they're not.
Now we
Oh,
can put them in order of it most important and least important. But if I want
right.
it, I need it.
right, period. I would say high level of integrity. Um, I would say ambition and ownership. That's very important to me. I would say community oriented. Some people would say family oriented. For me, it's very important if someone is community oriented. That's 3, right? 4, has been building prior to meeting me and preparing for someone like me. And number 5 would be chocolate.
Number 5 is chocolate. Okay, I got
It's
you.
chocolate.
So I want to go back to what you said about ambition and ownership. Does he have to own first, or is he like ambitious and he needs to have that ambitious mind to own that house or what have you, or company or what have you? Does he need to have that ownership first before while he's meeting you and dating you? Or some
Yes.
guys, nah, babe, like I'm ambitious. I want all this, I want all that, but he's still working at the speaker store.
I manage ambition with
Somebody got to be on the
ownership. Is
speaker.
that what you're saying?
Wait,
What
Ida, hold on one second. First time, go ahead.
I said I marry ambition and ownership together for that reason. It's different for different women. I think whenever a man is making a living for himself, it's honorable. For me, I want my children to see a father who doesn't answer to another man. That's just very important for me. Um, and so that's why I marry ambition and ownership. And
Go
to
ahead.
me also,
Uh-huh.
it's important to demonstrate certain things prior to coming into contact with a woman who is a prize, who is a significant reward in this life for being the kind of man that you're supposed to be.
Go ahead, Ida. What were you saying?
Oh, I was just saying when you said the speaker, so I said somebody got to sell the speaker, sis. She just saying that's not for her. I feel you.
Right. But
Like,
okay,
I got sell speakers, that's not for me. Thanks.
go ahead. B, what are your top five? Your are your haves and your wants, are your haves and your needs, I'm sorry, are your wants and your needs the same?
They are the same, absolutely. For me, I'm trying to limit it to five. I have so many, but
Go ahead
they're
if you got
all,
one, go ahead.
So I was writing, I was writing like, yeah, yeah, yeah. But security is one thing for me. Not just physical security, but that emotional security as well. Respect and transparency, as we've been talking about tonight. One of the main things for me is identity. I have to be with a man and marry a man who knows his identity, who's not still trying to figure it out. Yes, life is a journey and we learn more about ourselves as we evolve through life, but you have to have that solid foundation and truly know who you are, what you are for, what you aren't for. Being selfless. I believe marriage is a sacrificial thing, and you can't always have the mirror pointed towards you. And it goes both ways. I think we have to point that mirror towards each other, and remove ourselves and place that other person in the center. A leader. Definitely he has to lead. I do believe in a husband being the leader. I know some people, now with all these movements, it might be a little different for some people, but for me, I definitely embrace the man who leads and someone who's present in the moment, not so worried about, "Oh, what do I have to do for work tomorrow?" or what, not so stuck in the future or stuck in the past, but here in the moment. And living in purpose, I'll end it with that because I probably said like 15 things, but living in purpose is just really important to me. And that kind of goes back to one of the points, I think, who made that point earlier about ownership
Ambition.
um and
Mhm.
ambition. It kind of goes back to ambition. My expectation is not necessarily that you have it all together, but you should be close enough and striving towards that. It shouldn't just be an idea, but you should be putting in the works.
Right. There's so much I like about that. I want to go back to a couple things you said, but Kia, go ahead. What are your top five? And are your needs and your wants the same?
So that's like I said, our lists are long, so to try to kind of put just the top five or just the five.
Okay.
Um, I basically I always tell you, Crystal, he has to love God before all everything else because I can't go wrong. So I need you to be in a relationship with God because if you're in a relationship with God, I can't go wrong because you are a man after God. Love, trust, respect, and leader. I mean, like those other things. I don't want no bum. I don't want you not to have any savings or stuff like that. But when you at the end of the day you're on your deathbed, you're like, okay, what things really matter? So those are the things that really matter to me. Also, those are things that are near and dear to my heart. The love, trust, respect, because when you deal with so many negative, behaviors, you just like, no, these are deal breakers.
Ida, what are your needs and wants from a man?
I'm just taking notes because y'all said some good stuff. So I'm gonna start with I hate this word at work, but I'm gonna use it. I'm gonna start with my piggyback topics because these are like from B Golden. She said, and this is super important to me in the leadership. I am like yeah, I do everything for myself and whatever. I take care of myself. I pay my bills because I have to. I
Right.
make decisions and I do this. I do what I got to do because I have to. I do not want to be the and I've been this person. So this is something that I learned through therapy that I in my past, not immediate past, but in my past, I've dated men that I took care of because that's what I thrived in a position of like power, and I was just more advanced emotionally, intellectually, financially than the people I dated, so that I could control them. But
Mhm.
then like at some point when I get tired of being in charge of everything and, doing every single thing, then I'm like, damn, you don't be doing nothing. Then it's like this contempt starts because, you know, I'm mad because he's not doing this and this, but that's how I set it up. And those are the people I was dating. So as I was like, okay, stop, and started dating different types of people, um, just having somebody who was a leader, I am a great follower. Like, it starts with if I obviously I have to respect you. I'm not gonna be like you. Like, listen, just give me your check and so gonna flip it. Not that kind of leadership. Not
Right.
interested. No, but like a leader, as in like, hey, why don't for the next 6 months I'm gonna pay the bills. We're gonna sell your check, and then we're gonna do this, and this. Like I'm willing to if once I'm in a relationship with somebody I respect, it's not much that they can ask me to do that I won't do or consider or entertain the idea. But me trusting you to be a leader for my life and our potential family is super important. It's very important. And I think that that ties into the security. And I was going to leave that as that, but B Golden made a very good point. It's not just, you know, the physical part of it, or like it's not just the I know I can call you if I need you part of it. It's also the emotional security. Um, I can't really elaborate. I don't have the words for it, but the emotional security is so important. Just feeling secure, period, is very, very important. Um, in so many areas. Like I like to feel like I, I want you to do it. I want you to try it. You just wait. Because I
Mhm.
done already dialed all the I'm down to the last number. He about to come up here. Not to say he's gonna be ignorant or set it off or anything. Like the one of the first trips I took with the last person I dated, we got to the hotel and they were like, "Yeah, too late to check in. We canceled your reservation." But the reservation was prepaid and it was really expensive, which ain't nothing to do with me because I ain't paid for it. But they were like, and we're fully booked. I was like, hey, I'm gonna go to Starbucks over there. I'll be right back. I went to Starbucks and I was like, well, we're about to see what's gonna happen. Like
Mhm.
I wanted to see what was gonna happen. And he came to Starbucks and he was like, okay, come on. I was like, where we going? To the room. I was like, it's the small things. He didn't raise his voice, he didn't cuss nobody out. He just came over there and was like, come on, you got your coffee, let's go. So like just those small things where like you can handle you can like because me, I was if that was me, I don't know what I would have taken care of it, but I'm tired of taking care of everything. Period.
Right.
That's a long answer to a short question. Okay, so empathy is important to me, not to the point of I pay my mama rent because she didn't have it, but I took money from our house to give somebody else because my auntie, she got a son in jail. Not that kind of empathy, but just being an empathetic person, period. And that goes for like not always being like, well, they made they bed, they gotta lay in it. That type of mentality of like where you act like you ain't never been through nothing, you ain't never experienced nothing. You got to a point in your life where you are doing well, you got money, you can do what you want to do, and everybody else needs to get it how they live. I don't like that. As Black people, and because I do date Black men, um, the blacker the better. But anyway, but being empathetic is super important to me. Having like that moral and that like emotional compass to know when to come down off of your advisory horse, where like every time somebody has an issue, you're like, well, this is what they need to do. This is what they should have did. Just empathy. I know that seems like something very small, but some people get so hardened because of their journey in life that they act like they can't understand nothing, or because they've overcome something that somebody else is going through, they just like, I made it. They'll be all right. I don't like that. Okay. My next one is kind of goes back to the what I was talking about earlier about being agile, just being continually in a space where you're willing to evolve and learn. Just as long as you living, you should be learning. Like every day is a chance to learn something new. It may not. I'm not saying something like that's gonna change your life, but like the other day, I was talking to somebody, and I was like, "Did you know that Roberta Flack wasn't the first person to sing 'Killing Me Softly'?" And so we had this whole conversation. And then like we read the article together. And was like, "Damn, that's crazy." Went on YouTube and listened to the original song. Like I just like trivial things. I just like to learn things. It doesn't matter how trivial, but just being open, like just having like a genuine interest and curiosity about life is
Mhm.
important to me. Um, Even if it's something as small as like, did you I'm always coming with a random trivia. Always, I know so much random stuff. Um, the last thing on my list is accountability, and I know that's a word people toss around a lot, but not just accountability like to yourself. That's number one and most important.
Right.
Like I'm a person that's like, if you come to me like Ida, when you said this, it hurt my feelings. I might not even remember what you're talking about, but I'm gonna say first of all, I know me. I know it's never my intention to hurt somebody's feelings. If it was, I would remember it because I'm just not that person. I'm too sensitive for that. Like I'm the
Mhm.
person that's like before you can even call me back. I'm already sending you like a 4-page text, like, oh my God, I feel so bad about what I said. So being accountable to yourself is important. Like, okay, it's not always somebody else's problem or fault that something happened. Or, like, okay, you didn't see how you were wrong in that situation. Well, let me tell you from my perspective. And also that a part of that is accepting that everything you do or say, what you put out is not necessarily like your reality. My perspective and your reality is completely different. So being open to those conversations, going like, I know you didn't mean it this way. I know you didn't, this wasn't your intention, but could you accept that this is how it happened? Or could you consider it? So like not being so set on being right all the time, but also, being accountable to your decisions, the actions and reactions of like your decisions, being accountable to that and being accountable to others, like your responsibilities, your priorities. And if we're married, then, I don't know the verse of the scripture, but I know your wife come after God. So I'm like, listen, it's in the Bible somewhere. Okay. Google it. It's in the Bible. So I don't want to hear about, oh, well, I know I said I was going to do this, but I told Craig, I was like, I don't want to hear about what Craig needs. Like,
Right.
just being factual. So I know that was a lot, but it really was only 5 bullet points in here. But B Golden has the good points.
No,
Um,
she had great points, and I agree with you. And something you said earlier about just if we do argue or if there is some strife, say it right now. Hey, can we talk to can I talk to you for a second and pull me aside right then and there? But also be respectful and not try to dress me down in public. But let's have a conversation about it right when it happens. You know what? And I really, unfortunately, Kia had to drop off because I really want to just have a little fun. Y'all, what is your favorite thing about a man? Like, is it the way he smells? Is it the way he dresses? Like, let me start with B. Let me start with Bianca. What is it? The way he smells? Does he need to dress a certain way? Do you like a man that's suited and booted? Like, let's have some fun. Like, let's talk.
Okay. So for me, if we're gonna talk about prototype, I really love muscles. It just does something. It's just a trigger for me. Like what? Just popping muscles. So that's one of the things for me. So in terms of smells, that's not really my thing because I'm sensitive to certain smells. And some people just do the most with all this cologne. I'm like, you really smell trashy and not good. It's too much sometimes. But just what's really attractive outside of, the physical things to me is just a calm tone, the way he communicates. I like when someone is in tune with me and we can just talk and lose track of time and just go on and on and on. And you're actually listening. You're not in a rush to go home to see the game or to whatever your extracurricular activities are. When you're really focused on me, focused on knowing who I am, focused on listening and also responding and communicating with me. So, above all else, it's just that communication aspect, it's that moment of just in tune conversation.
Mhm.
That's what it is for me.
First, what is like, is it the sound of his voice? Is it the muscles? Like, what do you just love about a man?
I do like really good voices. I like very calm tones. I like very intelligent men who are like kind of serious. I like really serious guys. And to me, it's the hug, you guys, where the strongest part of the arm, the forearm, is like right at the bottom of your back, right? And it's like really strong. And you feel like you could just completely go limp and you would not fall. I don't know if there's a term for that kind of hug, but it's just like you feel supported, you feel
You know when you know.
protected. Yes, and you feel it's like a mini cuddle as well. It's just everything. That's my
Like you can
favorite.
forget somebody is ugly with the right kind of hug.
You
Yeah,
probably
you can really
can,
forget.
huh? We'll call
You be
it the
like,
hug.
With
you
the
like,
The
yeah,
right
I'm
kind
gonna
of,
just go to breakfast with him because he ain't that cute. Then he get a hug at the end of breakfast, and you're like, I might just answer his call later.
exactly. I'm like, he kind of cute.
baby.
But
With the right kind of, when he puts his arms around you and you just forget your name. Listen.
Everything.
So Ida, what is it? Is it the way he dresses? Does he need to be suited and booted? What is it about a man that you just love? With like the smell?
I'm making notes. Okay, I'm such a dork. So yes, I said this on the panel yesterday. I do like a man that smells good, and it doesn't have to be like I told somebody the other day they smell good, and they're like, yeah, it's Baccarat, and I was like, it could have been Curve. I don't care. I just like a man that smells good. Okay, you have to know what works with your chemistry because me personally, like you might catch me and you might ask me what I'm wearing. And like, if I'm cool with you, I'm gonna tell you it came from the beauty supply. Like it matters how well I know you. Whatever works for you. It doesn't matter how much it costs because I don't want you to be expecting me to buy, Tom Ford. We're not there yet. So, a man that smells good, definitely. A man that's confident, but not arrogant. It's a huge difference. Like you can like when the last person I dated that when I met him, he had on like some gym shorts, like Nike slides and like a sweatshirt, but and a hat. And I just saw him from across the room and I was actually filming for a panel and I was like, I'll be back. It was just like he had a presence and yeah, I just next. So something B Golden said was basically I just summed it up in my notes as like be willing to get lost with me in this moment, in this conversation. Just we came here for coffee, but like now we ordering lunch, and then like now a few hours went by, and like, well, do you want to go happy hour about to start across the street? Like, be willing to get lost in a moment with me, if only if it's authentic, not because if I'm bored, I'm gonna be like, yeah, I gotta go. But like if it's a vibe, like be willing to just like ride that wave with me and just let's just see where it goes. Like I'm very much that person. Um the voice, yes, and additionally, yes, with the voice. The last but not okay, so also I like a gentleman. So like I like for my door, like open my door. I'm the person who will like, I'll stand outside the car until you let down the window, be like, what's wrong? I don't know. You tell me. Why are you in the car and I'm not in the car? I
Right.
like a gentleman. Like, I don't like, I am absolutely like adverse to is going on a trip and being like, oh, let me get all these bags. I'm struggling. I'm tripping over steps. My shoelace getting caught in my leg. Like, no, I'm not dealing with any of that. Like, it's just certain expectations. And guess what? I'm gonna do all the research for the trip. I'm gonna find the best hotel. I'm gonna find the best flight times. All I'm asking you to do is take care of the bags. Like, it's just certain things that I just don't want to do. Now, don't get me wrong. I do them right now because I don't have a choice. But if I don't have to do stuff like that, I'm not taking out the trash. I'm not cutting the grass. I don't want to pump my gas. That's not a freestyle. Those are all things that I really feel sincerely about. But I feel like that really goes with like if I'm like, damn, I gotta leave early this morning because I need to stop and get gas. And you offer to go put the gas in my car, like that moves me. That really melts my heart. You ain't got to pay my rent, but if you pump my gas, like mind blown.
Point.
Last but not least, this is very, very important. I like a sophisticated ratchet man. Okay, I just do.
So
Um,
Ratchet, explain.
I want you to be able to, you know, be very eloquent in your speech and be up to date on current topics, be a person that I can take anywhere. Like I can take you to a work function and be like, you know what, like tonight it's all you. I don't feel like talking to these motherfuckers. And then like you're like you're meeting people, nobody, like, you're a man's man. I call it like a man's man. Nobody intimidates you. You like, you can talk about anything with anybody. But also, if I'm like, listen, they having a party down to the fairgrounds, you want to go? And like, man, who's gonna be there? I don't know. Like, we're gonna park on the grass. We're gonna walk. It's just gonna be a party outside. Somebody DJing from their iPhone. Like, we just gonna go there. It's BYOB. Let's do that. But we can also go,
Go to
to
a corporate
whatever.
event, but also can go to the barbecue. Can go to
Yeah, I can take you to the barbecue. We can also, my job bought a table for $20,000 with this benefit. I can also take you there and not worry. I don't have to tell you like, your fork is on that side. That's that man. Well, you got that man. I don't have to tell you that. But then also, like, you are also comfortable with me telling you Juvenile gonna be in concert at the place down the street, and we're going.
right.
I'm not gonna miss a Juvenile concert. So that's what everybody needs to know about me.
Go ahead, B Golden. You were Bianca. You were gonna say something. Are you gonna say something? No. Now she's
She's like,
muted.
no. She's
Now
like, no. Remember, everybody, muscles. Like, in summary,
muscles.
muscles.
Muscles. Go. You're muted, B.
You're on mute, be golden.
You're muted.
Oh, sorry guys. Sorry, I was like, yeah, muscles and put a suit on it. That's a whole nother level.
Ooh,
That's a
baby.
win-win for me.
Ooh.
But
I
no,
got
Kia
it
was
tonight.
saying,
I said, I like your suit. And I can tell you got it tailored. He was like, I was like, I see you, friend. I see you. He was like,
did you get those digits?
Y'all, to me, a confident man, confidence is the sexiest thing in the world. Confidence can be the sexiest thing in the world. And I love when a man that smells good, but I don't want you just, if I'm standing next to you, like at the coffee shop at Starbucks or something like that, and I'm like, he smells good. And you turn my head. Oh, Lord. But at the same time, I have that the sound of somebody's voice that's just like really melodic, and he just, he can just entrap you into the sound of his soothing voice. That can last a long time. And one of the reasons why I asked that question, one, that's just like something that, us ladies, we have those, we want those little things that you do. We love that. The man that works out, like B Golden said, just somebody that's just like, he's got the muscles, or, he puts his arm around me the right way. I like a man that, like, yes,
we got to think of a name for that hug.
yes,
We got to think of a name for that hug.
Name for it.
we
Because you
got
got to call your homegirl like, girl, he did the such and such on me. Girl, no.
Right.
yes.
We need a code name.
We need a name for that.
And it's so funny. Does height matter? Does height matter? Does he need to be 6'2", or does he need to be a certain
I mean,
height?
I'm not the tallest person. I'm average. I'm like 5'4", 5'5". So I don't. I mean, I don't have super high expectations.
As long as he's taller than me and he doesn't have a problem with me wearing heels, I'm gonna wear heels. But
Right.
as long as he's my height or taller, I don't care. We're all the same height.
I agree.
So we have a friend who's a
You got that. You got first time Tuba heard that one.
Yeah, go ahead first. Does height matter, and why?
No, because I'm very short, so I can do any height basically.
Mm-hmm. So we have a fellow YouTuber who has just a voice that can trap you. Is velvet, and he's dark chocolate. And he's like, every time I'm online, why do all the women ask me, how tall are you? Because of course they can only see from here.
Because they're already thinking about having sex with you, so they just want to know the rest of the topic.
And I told him, I said, listen, our dreams need detail. Our dream, because all we see is your head and your neck. And we want to know, are you 6'2"? Like, Ida, you're like what, 5'10", 5'11"? You're
5'9".
So you're 5'9", and in heels with you, you're
in heels probably 6'2". Yeah.
Yes. So we're like, okay.
But men love being like, you are so attractive. And I'm like, thank you. Thank you.
Our dreams need details. We want to know, okay, how does he look in the dark? We need to know.
And there's a lot of deception. There's a lot of deception out there.
Thank you. Yes. Online dating is so prevalent, and all we see is here to here. We need to know. We need those details. We need to know, because they're already imagining you in bed. That's why. That's why. So
they were being honest, yeah.
Yes, if we're being honest, and listen, that's what you want us to be
And you
honest,
don't be
right?
honest.
You want us to be
The
honest.
only thing missing from online dating is that they need to have some way where you do like a breath profile. Like, can you breathe into here and like maybe send me a breath sample in the mail because like that will ruin everything. Okay,
Yes.
can I get a breath sample? Thank
That's
you.
a genius idea. I love that idea.
The breath sample.
Yes.
What is
I'm
your
gonna
oral
trademark that.
hygiene
Listen,
like? Question mark.
my dating app is gonna be trash, but it's gonna have a
Right.
breath sample. You get your breath sample shipped for 99 cents.
So, what is the turn off? What is the just like the deal
The
breaker?
breath. Hello.
The breath.
Bad breath.
Yes.
Bad teeth. That's one for me. Bad teeth. Yeah, I shouldn't see any. At a certain age, even if you had bad teeth your whole life, at a certain age, you can get it fixed. You
Hmm.
know, if it shouldn't be black stuff, green stuff, just weird stuff, just hanging and what she was saying about the breath. That's really important. So that's like an immediate turn off.
Right.
If you don't know how to communicate, you can't hold a proper sentence. Like the first, like I said earlier, the first three words will determine if you even get my number, if we even go out.
So give us a win and a lose on the first three words. Like give us something that a man will say and be
Hey
like,
ma, and hey
wait, tell
ma,
me again.
and hey
Hey,
ma, hey ma, hey ma. Yo, ooh, you look. If I hit or ooh, that's not even really a word. That's a sound effect. So that's already. If it's anything other than like hello, hi,
English
it's
words.
just automatic. It's just automatic. Hit the red button.
right. So, what's
Delete,
your
delete,
major
delete.
right? What's your major turn off? First home.
For me, what it has been lately is men who speak negatively about their exes and more specifically the mothers of their children. I will cut a guy off for speaking anything negative about a woman who pushed a baby out for you.
The woman you laid down with.
Yes.
Because she
Yes.
wasn't all of that when you was laying down with her. I agree with that. I 1000% agree with that.
I agree with that. You know what? And this, this whole show's got me so. I'm so glad to be doing this show because that's actually happened to me too. Like, and I'm just sitting there
Mm.
talking to this guy that
That
was
is a
actually
turn off.
right here in Atlanta, and next thing you know, begins to tell me and starts to say, "Oh, will this be this bitch?" I was like,
Mm.
next,
That's
okay, it's
it.
time to go. Like, and because my next thing is gonna be like, so what did you do? And then I see how my
Yeah.
face turned, and I said, "Oh, this right here. I'm about to."
But what I like when men are that way, I love to ask them, like, do in this moment, are you a man that you would want your daughter, whether she exists or could potentially exist, are you a man that you would want your daughter to date? The last time I asked a man that, when I tell you he got the phone me and never called me back, thank you.
Thank
Because
you.
he told me he was very nice, very respectful, like, hey, I always see you out and I just always want to say hi to you. And I'm like, oh, okay, like flattery gets you everywhere. So, we started talking, we exchanged numbers, and he called me on the way home to make sure I made it home safe, which like
Mhm.
I'm not impressed. But thank you. We talking, and then he said something, and I was like, "Are you in a relationship, or is somebody in a relationship with you?" Because that's an important follow up
Right.
question. And he
Mhm.
was like, "Well, yeah, I'm married, but like my wife know what's up." I said, "Well, I don't know what's up. That's number one. Number two, do you if you when you have a daughter, are you the man you want your daughter to marry?" He got mad. Looks like here comes the accountability conversation. Well, I don't have no daughter. I said, well, if you had one and she came to you and said, Dad, my husband talks to other women, but I'm fine with it. How would you feel about that?
I actually love that question because you're absolutely right.
Are you the
Yeah.
man you want your daughter? If your daughter came to you and told you what was going on right now between us, what would you say? And I've gotten some very good, like, boyfriend that I thought I was going to marry. At one point, I was like, if your daughter came to you and told you about our relationship and asked for your advice, what would you say? This man, they for 3 years moved to Houston to be with me. He looked at me in my face and said, if my daughter came to me right now and told me what was going on in our relationship and asked for advice, I would tell her that he's not serious.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
well, so
It was already a wrap. If I'm having this conversation, it's already a wrap. But
Oh,
like the fact that you're on, and I appreciate your honesty, sir. You're right. You're not serious. But I'm glad that you could put yourself in that space where, because a man should, his daughter should be like tops for him. You know, like he wants the best for her. So be the man, like because women, yeah, whether we admit it or not, we emulate what we see. We don't do what people tell us to do. It's what we see. And so, like, your daughter is gonna go find a man like you, no matter what you say, no matter how gangster you are, no matter how you pull up on somebody, and they know better than to play with your daughter. She's still gonna go find a man like her dad,
right.
whether it's on purpose or not. And if
I
she doesn't have a dad, that's even worse because she's just shooting in the dark. But
right.
are you the man that you would want your daughter to be with?
I actually love that question. I'm going to end it on that question because that is important for our next show and for us to end on. Do these men, because I actually had some other things do, because first home she mentioned that because you are getting a prize and I said, do the men out here, do they really understand that we're a prize? But I'm going to take it to the next, because I'm going to take this
Okay,
to the next
yes,
show.
we have to come back to part two because the message I hear right now is that men is the prize too. That's a lot of the messaging right now.
That's the
And guess
messaging
what?
right now.
I'm down with that. If you are truly a prize, and as the lady on Coming to America said, if you're truly a prince, I'll marry you. Okay?
Right. Right.
Be the prize, sir. If you're the prize, be the prize.
Be that
Sir.
prize. So I'm about to have, like, this is our first installment. The next one is gonna be what does submission look like to you? I'm gonna be having more ladies on the panel.
Is that an
Um,
S&M
the
panel
alpha,
or I'm kidding.
no, well, the next one's coming back, but I'm gonna be having you ladies back. The alpha woman in a relationship, partner
No such
versus
thing.
provider, and money attitudes in relationships. So we're gonna be talking about, and the communication breakdown. So that's gonna be and yeah, so that's gonna be the next series.
Great
So
topics.
thank you guys so
Yes.
much for tonight.
Amazing.
Um, just y'all stay tuned because in January we're going to be picking this back up. I wanted to end the year with the first episode, and then I'm going to be trying to have every 2 weeks, every other week we're going to have another show like this. So submission is next. Bianca, she touched on it a little bit, but I was like, stop right there. So that's the only reason I didn't pick it up, because I really was going to pick it up, but I said, oh no, that's next episode. So y'all come back, because with the submission and submission versus cooperation, because I got into a big conversation with somebody about that, submission versus cooperation, on the next show. So please stay tuned, you guys. And I'll be contacting these ladies. Bianca, shout yourself out. Give everybody your Instagram. Bianca, y'all, is a whole actress out here in Atlanta, and she is a flight attendant. And yes, go ahead.
Hey everyone, I am B Golden. You can reach me on all social media platforms at the real B Golden. Just the letter B Golden. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter at the real B Golden.
She is the star of a project that I produced back in March, and we're getting funding, so we will be we will be getting that out first of the year, hopefully. So please stay tuned for that. And go ahead, first home.
That's awesome. Congrats on your project. I'm First Home Tuber on all social media platforms. My program, On a Spot, begins on January 1st. I give free tips on how to get down payment assistance, get your credit together, all of the things you need to successfully purchase your first ever property. It's not hard. You can do it, and my channel is there to help. So I hope to see you guys over there.
Ida, go ahead and shout yourself out.
I'm IMC. I as in Ida, MC713 on Instagram and Twitter. But I always say don't play on my Twitter because I use Twitter for work. But if you don't play on Twitter, follow me there. On Instagram, follow me. I do follow back. And I also answer all my DMs. So, but like, don't play in my DMs either. Anyway, I just want to say thank you, Crystal, for inviting me. I definitely enjoyed this platform. I cannot wait for the rest of the panels because I think that even sometimes single women are discounted in the like in this space, in this relationship space, the first thing somebody would ask you is, have you ever been married? Do you have kids? First of all, I chose my choice. I could have been married. I'm sure we all could have been married. We all sure we could have had somebody baby by now. We chose our choice. And like, I think it's super important at this age to have these conversations and to also invite younger women into these conversations. Because I meet younger women when I go out because I've been in the streets and they're like, ooh, when I get to be your age, I want to be out here. First of all, so, sis, what's this? No, you don't want to be out here. But, I think that it's important to be open to learning and listening to other people. Like I said, I pulled out my notebook. I started taking notes about some of the things y'all were saying because I was like, damn, that's a good point. I ain't never thought about that. So if nothing else, if one person listens to this and is like, wow, that was let me think about that. Let me implement that. I think it's super important. And to also to let people know, for me, like the goal for us is not to be like, how can we get a man? That's not what we're here to talk about. How can we keep a man? That's not what we're here to talk about. We're just talking about life experiences and sharing experiences and also learning. Because like I said, I already have 2 pages of notes, like just thinking about stuff that y'all said today. So thanks for having me. I already follow First Home Tuber. Big Golden, I follow you. Bow, just added you. And of course, Chris,
I will
follow
follow back.
So much. Y'all, I'm producing, we're shooting January 15th. The next short film is coming. I need 3 PAs. Y'all, if you know a PA, give them my information. So please watch out for me. I'm producing and writing, and pray for me in these screenwriting streets. So, because I got 2 projects that I need to finish, and check these ladies out. And going to be more shows coming in January. Thank you guys so much, and good night.